Tonight, on the Three-Quarter Show, once again, Goose must guess who the liar is. We sing a silly Nintendo song to Bev, Layton's dog, and then they sing to me, and I get very confused. Let's head to the studio.
What's up, guys? This is Heis. We are once again playing Two of These People Are Lying here in Season 3 of the Three-Quarter Show. We're once again at the abode, the Casa de Layton Moreland, ladies and gents.
How are ya?
And as well, we're also joined by this guy. He's the only one of us who actually owns a piece of rail equipment as of today.
Yay!
Actually,
I make poor life decisions.
I should mention I do own a 3-foot gauge push cart.
Man.
I thought we've had this conversation before.
Can you repo it from Como?
No, they didn't want it at Como because it was made of steel and it's too heavy. So it's living at my parents' house in Houston.
He's the one person who owns a powered piece of rail equipment.
Does that count if the engine doesn't work?
I mean, this is a really good
It
qualifier
will be
you put on
powered.
there.
It will be powered.
Powerable.
Details. And as you can see, we are, in fact, 3/4 of one idiot.
The same idiot.
The same idiot sharing one brain cell, comma, you should. You can figure out what that whistle stands for. Anyway.
The abbreviation is SOB.
It is. It is. Hey, Scott Kennedy, if you're out there. Hey.
Bye.
We miss you.
First off,
and Brophy.
why?
Hi. Yeah,
Don't
and
you have
why?
something to be fixing?
Yeah, if you watch my YouTube, like, what are you doing? Anyway. But we're always looking for that fourth piece, that hole needs to be filled. And sometimes we choose booze, but sometimes we choose goose. Honk!
What does that make me now?
Drunk.
Filling the hole in our heart. I don't know.
Accessory.
Anyways, guys, we're playing Two of These People Are Lying because two of the 3/4 of an idiot will be lying.
Somebody
changed it up.
Goose is guessing
I'm
a liar. And I did good that one time. It was great.
I did.
But anyway,
You lied so hard you truthed.
I did lie so hard I truthed, which you've done the opposite of. So it's fine.
The Deadwood Sentinel.
Yes, with the mining consortium.
Establishment.
Yes.
It's my
So
rating.
Goose has to guess from these cards that he is shuffling which one is the correct one, and we all have to act like it's our own card. And whoever gets chosen gets a point, and if it's the right one, Goose also gets a point. And whoever has the most points after 2 rounds wins. So
I've been shuffling these.
what is our first card here, Mr. Shuffleman?
Been shuffling these through the whole intro, so I think it's long enough. Orstad. Let's start with Mark.
You have to show the card.
What is
Yeah.
Orstad?
Orstad?
Orstad.
Orstad?
Orstad.
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 I remember... Never mind.
You remember Nevermind?
You remember
the album
Nevermind?
by Nirvana?
No,
You forgot
No.
to remember to forget?
no. I realized something.
You remind me to remind you.
Yes.
What did I
Please?
forget?
An Orstad is a Scandinavian, particularly in the region of Norway, version of a colliery or a coal mine.
Down a bit from Tromsø.
Down a bit from Tromsø, yes, as it were.
Wrong country. but
Wrong
yes.
country, but
Yeah,
you get the idea.
It's that part of the world.
It's that part of the world,
where
and
they
they
have
call
the
it the
fjords.
Orstad because it stands for ore stage. The word ore spanned the whole thing, but that's where they would stage the ore to load into different cars.
All right, Brett. What is Orstad?
It is the far east end of an extension of railroad track.
All right. Layton.
Scandinavian Strategic Steam Reserve. So a series of steam, that is a name for an overall program for a series of steam locomotives hidden away in the forests of the hinterlands of Sweden and Finland and Norway, in case the bombs got dropped and an electromagnetic pulse knocked out all diesel locomotives.
They had nothing else to do, so we put the steam engines in the barn.
Yeah, we put them
In
in
the
the barn.
Say hello, steam engines. Hello.
The wheel has spun and has arrived on all of Scandinavia. Hey, hinga-dinga, put the steam engines in the barn.
I'm going to build a bookshelf and eat a meatball made out of
Ben has been
horse.
keeping the steam engines.
Why is he good at every accent?
What kind of wood should I build a train layout out of?
Norwegian wood! Norwegian wood! Nicholas Valdez, if you're out there, my man.
Chavez.
Chavez.
Yes.
Valdez, who is Chavez?
Yes.
That's not very Swedish.
It's not, but he likes the Norwegian food.
He does like the Norwegian food.
The Swedish meatballs from IKEA.
The first time I'm firing up 491, he's bringing out wheelbarrows of wood from the wood pile to me, and he goes, I got you some more Norwegian food! And that's just started the whole thing, and it's apparently related to the Beatles somehow. I don't know how.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not? Sure.
Let's go backwards. Brett, elaborate.
So the Rio Grande, God, I can't remember the chronology here, so that's on me. There are two railroads that built west-ish from Denver over the Rockies. The Denver Rio Grande Western, which we all know and love, and what would eventually become the Denver and Salt Lake, the Moffett Road.
Denver, Northwestern, and
Denver, Northwest, and Pacific originally. It was sort of the primary competitor, but the Rio Grande was still willing to have them. In the long run, they were the ones that built Moffett Tunnel and the Moffett Line up just north of here.
Right.
Eventually, the Rio Grande bought them out and wanted to utilize their route, but the two routes did not connect. So to connect them, they built a cutoff line of about 30 miles, I think. To connect the two, they call it the Dot Cerro Cutoff. They call it the Dot Cerro Cutoff because Dot Cerro was the western terminus. Dot Cerro because that's where an old geologic survey started, and it was Dot Zero. The other end of the cutoff is Arrestad because it is Dot Zero, Dot Cerro, spelled backwards. The Rio Grande was wonderfully creative.
Bunch of
It is
drunk
extremely
bastards.
creative.
bunch of drunk bastards.
Bunch of drunk.
I've run out of beverage.
He has.
We can fix
we
that.
can
I have
that.
to drive.
But can you putt?
Wow, you really are drunk if that was... that got you.
Just that dumb.
That one did
The
it.
golf jokes are doing it for
That
you.
one did it.
Imagine you could wear a,
jokes, people!
imagine you could wear a kilt and not care.
Put the little
Imagine,
flag
imagine you can invent a sport like golf. Sport like golf.
like you're gonna have a stroke.
Ah, that's what I'll call it. A stroke. Because every time you do it, you feel like you're gonna die.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Seriously.
We didn't deserve you.
Glorious
Nope.
human being.
Anyways,
All right then.
carrying on.
Back
Mark.
to Scandinavia.
Back to Scandinavian
All
ore
the Norwegians
stages.
did.
I mean, there's really not much more to it. It literally is just the simple term for an ore stage. It was like the contemporary Norwegian equivalent of like an ore bin. When you'd be transloading things between the mine and then the train cars, we'd call it an ore bin. It would be called an ore stad in Norway and those places like that.
Like an ore station.
Like an ore station
ore
or an ore
station.
staging place. So, I mean, that's as simple as it was. It was in coal mines, iron ore mines, everything out there. That was just how they translated from the mine to the cars.
Leighton, I know that particularly the Swedes have a great affinity for hiding things in the forest in case the bombs go.
Yep.
But those things tend
All the undisclosed Mosins, yes.
those things tend to be fighter jets. In my experience, like
Sometimes you need a steam train.
Those things tend to be fighter jets in your experience. However, your experience is primarily aviation.
it is.
Yes.
They take these things off from the highways
Yeah.
in the middle of the forest.
I've seen a picture of this, actually.
It's glorious.
Some
There's
MiG getting towed down the freeway somewhere in the middle of the forest.
not MiGs. This
No?
is like Saab,
Oh, God.
JA-37,
I
JA-39.
forgot Saab made planes.
Yeah, that's their...
They're amazing planes.
That was their whole thing of like, they're jet designers.
They're
who now
jet
make
designers.
cars.
You went German and I went Kermit the Frog.
We make cars now.
Kermit
the Frog here.
Hey ho, Fozzie, I'm not so sure about this. You think this will fly?
Of
Yes.
course. Heard it for it. I didn't ask for you.
Bev wants in. Bev wants in. Bev. Hey, Bev.
Hi, Bev.
Hi, Bev. Bev Cams.
Bev.
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 Bev Cams. Hi, Bev.
Content that people truly
This
crave.
is the content.
Butt
The-
pats for Bev.
This
Hi,
is what
Bev.
people
Butt
crave.
pats
Hi,
for
Bev.
The internet needs more happy Labradors.
Hi, Bev.
If we hooked her up to a generator, she'd generate more power than a fusion reactor.
That's
No, no,
very
no,
At
no,
least
my
on her
microphone.
tail. Look at that thing go.
Not my microphone.
Bev.
That's a blunt
Bev.
weapon.
Bev.
Bev.
Hi, Bev.
Yeah, she's
Hi.
killed like 3 wine glasses.
Oh,
I should tattoo.
Are we still in frame?
Let's see if we're still in frame. Yep. Looks
Yeah.
like
Swedes like hiding things in the forest. Those things tend to be Saabs.
How do you know Saab didn't make locomotives?
Because you watch the commercials, they were always jet engineers.
They were always a
Maybe they
jet
were
engine.
ashamed of it.
They made the turbine.
They were ashamed of making steam engines, so they went to make jets. It doesn't feel like the way the flowchart goes.
Mitsubishi.
I mean, yeah, details.
Mitsubishi makes really cool planes now.
And they
but
made
off
steam
topic.
locomotives.
They did.
They made Westinghouse air compressors.
They made
appliances. Yes. And somehow I feel like the tolerances are nowhere even in the same. They're not even in the same
same
town.
order
Not
of
even the same ballpark. Not even in the same town. Not the same sport. Not the same. Yeah.
A Westinghouse
They're
air
not
pump goes
within-
bum, 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 and a Mitsubishi one probably goes.
I was gonna say it's like 3 orders of magnitude different on the tolerance, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, tight those.
But
Anyway,
Anywho. Orstad.
Årstad.
Orstad.
It's the Orben in Scandinavia, near the fjord.
We get the 50-cent hot dogs and the
Depends.
99-cent cinnamon rolls.
It's not necessarily near the fjord because the fjord is way down there, and the mountains and the,
Mountains
orgs
are
up
up
there.
here, and they have the mines up there.
if they could just dump into the fjord, they would not use the trains. They'd be
Battery
using the
mining.
boats.
the Malin, welcome. I'm a great fan of your show, Home Improvement.
Oh God. If the Swedes could fight things, they'd be so mad at us.
Yep, the wheel has landed.
Wheel
has landed on
I'm not sure I
Yeah.
want to piss off the Swedes. I think the Swedes
They
can
would
put
kick
a-
our ass.
The Finns I don't want to piss off.
I don't want to piss off any
Simo
of them.
Haya would like to know
Yeah,
your location.
Simo Haya has entered the chat.
Yeah.
White Death himself.
Took an explosive bullet to the jaw and lived till 90. But
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Well, Goose, where you at?
I'm at Brett doesn't know how to spell in Spanish because dot cero, the cero would start with a C. So,
Okay.
but also it's the Denver and Rio Grande and they're dumb Americans. They don't know how to
Pronounce the
spell
Rio
And-
Grande.
and-
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande. Yeah,
Not the
you've
Rio
got,
Grande.
you've got a quandary there that you have to
Yeah.
resolve
Is
internally.
it, am I stupid or is the Rio Grande stupid?
Yes?
Question mark?
I mean,
Por
the
qué no
whole
los
point of the
dos?
Pretty
show,
much,
yeah.
yes.
Hi, Bev.
You know, I want to go with Brett on this one. It's so oddly specific.
You would
that-
be correct.
Yeah.
You can still go to, they more often call it Bond, Colorado. But Dotsero is still on Union Pacific timetables, and you can take the California Zephyr through Dotsero.
Where Tennessee Pass and the Moffat can join.
Yep. Dotsero. And
a
the
thing.
other end of the cutoff is Arrestad.
I have actually never heard that.
Really?
Somehow. And you said that, and I was like, that sounds like those
was-
drunk. I know!
That's those loonies
Those loonies!
I will say, I saw a look of like eureka on Mark's face when Brett was describing
It sounds
it.
definitely like, yeah, it sounds like dumb shit too. I had no idea. I honestly didn't know if it was either of them, but he said that. I was like, oh, I could see that. And you're like, oh, I don't know if the word's spelled right. And my head was just like, if I
That
bring
sounds
up,
like
if
the
I,
Rio Grande.
If I bring up the Buena Vista thing,
I'm going to jump across the table
yes.
and kill you.
well, yes, but it was gonna give it away because Brett is in support
Well,
of the Spanish pronunciation. Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway,
and I have heard that exact argument at the museum.
many a time.
Oh, yes.
Many,
Oh, yes.
many.
Is it
many
pronounced
times.
Buena Vista or Buena Vista?
Buena Vista.
Guess what? The one argument that I've heard that really sells it for me is Dusty's argument that says we call it Salida, not Salida.
I will give him that. I thought the
So-
Spanish pronunciation was Salida.
That's Salida.
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 Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, why do you think the town downstairs is Entrada?
Because Entrada, not Entrada.
Oh no, I knew
Entrada.
that's what it meant. I thought it was
And
pronounced.
I guess Entrada would be the incorrect pronunciation
Yeah.
of the thing to mirror the prototype.
Yeah, the most correct incorrect.
Yes.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Buongiorno.
Well, so you need to get a new
I need to get
card,
a new
and we
card.
gotta do round 2 here.
Yep.
So
Take it.
go do the thing.
I will stare at
Insert
boats.
elevator music here.
Buff. Buff. Buff.
Second topic is
Arctic backup power. Brett, what is Arctic backup power?
Arctic backup power is a dead helper.
It makes sense.
Cold as the Arctic.
Yeah, because it's
We elaborate later, but yes,
Yes,
because
it's cold.
it's a cold unit, so it's
Fair,
Arctic.
yeah.
we'll go with Leighton next.
On the Franklin expedition, the ships Terror and Erebus, they had steam locomotives, or they had steam power plants on them that were formerly steam locomotives.
I knew that they were steam powered. I didn't know they were from steam locomotives.
They were formerly
plausible.
trains. Yeah.
All right, Mark, what is Arctic backup power?
It was a time in northern Canada when a town ran entirely out of power and they had to use a diesel electric locomotive to power the whole town.
How much power do they put out again?
Lots of
Actually, a lot more than you'd
Enough.
think. I can't recall the exact spec, but it's like 600 volts times 1,000 amps. Do the math.
many watts.
Many watts.
It's I mean, you can't sustain that forever, but you can get enough watts.
But is it
to
a
keep
Bernie watts?
You can do enough watts to prevent Canada from, well, not all
People
of
aren't
Canada.
going to freeze.
Canadians from
Yeah.
freezing. Yeah.
A certain number greater than zero.
Yes.
I mean, Brett, if you'd like to elaborate more, there's not much more.
No, it was a term coined in the 1940s and 50s when they first started using diesels, because the thought was they don't really do it anymore, but the thought was rather than stopping and adding a helper before going up a grade, you would just have the helper on the train always. You would leave it Arctic or cold, start it at the bottom of the grade, use it to help, i.e. it's the backup. And then at the top of the grade, when you no longer need it, you go cold. And the term Arctic just came for it's cold, it's off, it's dead, it's Arctic, whatever.
It's Arctic.
Yeah.
Tactic. Tax pumping.
Leighton, elaborate more on the Franklin expedition. Where did those engines come from exactly?
Locomotive railways.
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage, sing to find the hand of Franklin reaching. What is going on? Would see, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, to make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
I'm assuming somewhere in there you're just going to cut with like a beep screen, technical difficulties. And then we cut back to here.
Yep, never heard that song before.
Did we just break Mark?
It's just like, wait, okay, wait, how do they all know this but me?
Westward from the Davis Strait.
No, we're not doing it anymore. We're not doing it anymore. Silence.
You're gonna scare Ryder.
And make me deaf in the process.
Jesus.
Cockatoo sounds are loud, everyone.
Lord God Almighty, King of creation.
Maximum allowable working pressure?
Yes, that's how they spell it in the captions.
That is.
Jesus. Alrighty.
So Franklin expedition, the ships were auxiliary steamers. They had sails and steam.
Yep, sails and steam. The steam was kind of a we have this also
Yeah.
sort of thing. because, why would we spend money on coal if we don't have to?
All right,
We're
so
the British Navy.
was it just the boiler or just the engine that was from...
The whole motive. Basically, imagine instead of like the wheels, they took the pistons, and instead of wheels, it was a crankshaft attached to a propeller.
Were they screw-driven?
They had secondary screws.
like-
I knew they had steam auxiliary. I wasn't sure if it was a screw or a wheel.
It was a screw.
Okay.
It was like a 2-blade screw or something.
Yeah, pretty
Pretty
primitive.
primitive screw. Okay.
Yeah.
Still counts, though.
So, Leighton.
Less a screw and more an inclined plane revolved around an axle.
Well, realistically, what is a screw? But anyway.
That
What
is
is
in
a
fact
screw?
the
But
same
it's
collection. Yes.
of inclined planes revolved around an axle. Yeah.
So, Leighton,
Archimedes?
you are entirely correct about the Franklin expedition, and they had auxiliary steamships.
Yes.
But they were not called Arctic Backup Power. I know that much. I am 90% sure I have heard the story of the CP locomotive up in the north doing the backup power for the town. So I'm going to go with Mark on this one.
Thanks for not freezing our bejesus off.
It's a true
story about
It's a
that.
true story, but it's also not called Arctic Backup Power. It's not mine.
You've been duped by truth. It was me.
It was.
It's me. Hi.
You missed the chance for him to go double stupid.
You could have had him
He
go
would have
I
guessed
stupid.
mine next. We could have had more fun with him.
Well, I'm sorry. I had to admit that I was correct.
So I thought that the difference in like the engineering design philosophy between railroad steam power and marine steam power was different enough that they wouldn't be able to fit a locomotive boiler and engine into a steamship.
Admittedly, it was a very small boiler. Like, we're talking about, like,
This is a locomotive not much larger than Pee-wee.
That's
not much larger than this goddamn table.
They're very
Itty
small
bitty
because
little
this is
choo-choo.
the engines are dating from the 1820s, 1830s.
1830s / 40s.
Ancient steam.
Yeah,
locomotive.
Franklin.
I know nothing of this.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah,
Franklin
Franklin
expedition
expedition
was
was
like the
54.
yeah.
So these are
1850s.
engines.
These are locomotives that were retired prior to 1850.
Montezuma would
That's
make these
true.
things look
Oh, yeah.
small.
Montezuma was Mungo.
And Montezuma is small enough that it could be built in this living room.
Mongo likes candy.
Not that anybody's ever thought about such things.
Nope.
Nope, never.
Never.
Was that the
Nope.
second one of the episode? That was the second one of the episode.
It
was the
was.
second one of the
I won
episode.
this one,
Mark won.
but who got the first point? I don't remember.
It was my card, and you guessed it
I
correctly.
guessed
so
it,
we
so
both got a point. You got
Leighton
that point.
loses.
So
Leighton
Leighton loses this time.
I'm the loser.
Everyone
the
say
loser.
neener. Neener, 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 neener. Into the camera.
Now,
Neener, 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 neener.
now go away, or she'll punch you for a second time.
All right then, you.
Westward from the Davis Strait was there 'twas said to lie.
Credits are rolling.
The sea route to the Orient, for which so many died. Seeking gold and glory, leaving weathered, broken bones, and the long forgotten, lonely cairn of stones. Ah, for just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage.
I think we've got
I
it.
think you've got it by now.
I think we've hit the end of the credits.
Christ.
I want to see your reaction to that in real